So, calling all Irish expats, it's Catherine Brennan here from Intelligent Property. Some of you may know me already, some people this may be their first video. So to give you a bit of background, I'm an accountant, financial advisor, property investor, based in Ireland, but I actually spent part of my year in Portugal. And I flip properties. Flipping is my own main strategy because I don't particularly like tenants, so I like doing flips. I build portfolios for clients, and I also train people in all property strategies. So expats may be, well, obviously they're abroad, but they may be in Dubai, Australia, Canada. They may just even be in the UK. But you're oftentimes becoming interested in moving home and you don't know what the next moves are. So I chat to people regularly in the different places. And I would say the worst mistake somebody can make is to be saying, we'll get home. We just save like mad, and then when we get home, we put together a property portfolio. Because that won't work. For one, the major reason is you'll have lost your salaried jobs by the time you get home. And finding another job in Ireland might take a few months. But secondly, you're going to be on probation initially, so that's no good. That's not a permanent pensionable job. Thirdly, when you get home, if you've been working like I don't know what for years, you haven't been home for more than a holiday, you're going to want to spend some time with your family. So that's you're coming back to aging parents, to maybe having not been able to travel for all of 2020. The last thing you want to do is rush into a job because you need to get a mortgage. You don't actually need money, you need a mortgage. So I would strongly advise you to look at doing this start this portfolio building before you get home. Have some things in motion before you get home. So what can you do? Well, obviously you can contact us about portfolio building services. We do a service for expats. What we need to know is, what savings have you? Do you have any existing properties at home? Do you have, is there somebody you're going to be doing this venture with, a partner, a brother, a sister, a husband, a wife? So we get your background and also your end goals. So, and also we're able to factor in all the legal implications, the tax implications if the company setups to be done. That's no problem at all. Tax consultants too, see, we can do viewings. And honestly, the viewings is probably one of the easier parts of it. What's happening is people abroad often are trying to use neighbours, friends and relatives to find them a property, and it's the person they're sending to find the property is in no way qualified to choose your property whatsoever. Do they understand the difference between houses, apartments, things you can extend, things you can't extend, things you can add value to? In fact, they'll be probably looking for the opposite of what I'm looking for, because they're looking for the easy option. Or what I'd be looking for is something that you can add value to later if you decide to. So I might be looking for a house with a garage as opposed to a regular house. I would probably not be looking at apartments unless you specifically tell me you want the easy option. Because in apartment blocks, some of the people won't pay their management fees, and then it ends up becoming a burden on the other apartment owners. It's quite hard to make them pay their fees in Ireland. Sometimes it's only when the unit is sold that they have to pay their fees and catch up on all the backlog. So who pays the gardener and the bin man in the meantime? So apartments have some difficulties. Yes, they're very, very convenient, and you can endeavour to find out how many are owner-occupied and many are landlords, because the owner-occupied ones are more likely to be kept nicely up to date. But there's just so many things. Their development in the area, average prices, ceiling prices. There are so much stuff that sending your uncle or your cousin or your auntie to look at a house you just will not cover. Do they understand rent pressure zones? And do they understand leases versus license arrangements? Probably not. They haven't spent 3 years training just to go out and do viewings for you. They're trying to be helpful, but they're not qualified in most cases unless you happen to have a property professional in the family. So that's some of the reasons you might want to use professional sourcers. We are the only professional sourcers that I am aware of who also have a legal, finance, accounting background, financial advisor. I'm also an interior designer, so I do furnishings regularly. I furnish houses all the time, but I do actually use other interior designers too, because you can't do everything yourself. And so we can arrange furniture packages at reasonable value, but we can coordinate the whole thing completely from here. And it is possible to borrow off your next pack, but it needs to be done in a slightly more long-winded way. That's not a problem. So there's lots and lots you can be doing. There's our training courses are all online. You can be completing any of those if you feel like when you get home you want to do flips. Another service which we're doing with just one or two clients now is they're investing money with us. So we take in money hands off regularly. People are paid a set interest rate, and usually it can be once a year or it could be at the end. And then those people, a bonus at the moment we've been offering is that those people could then follow our projects. So we bring them on virtual tours, we give them the before and after photos, we give them the breakdown of what. So we're training on the job, even though you could be on the other side of the world. So that's a really, really interesting one, because I have learned that training alone is very, very hard to implement. It's very hard to go out and buy a house after you do a training course, because you're nervous. You haven't done one before. You're not sure if it will sell. What renovations will you do? What will you not do? So training alone is not enough. People need mentoring. And so this is free mentoring. We're still paying the interest rates, even though the cost of getting that mentoring would be in large numbers to start. You would be paying for mentoring probably 10 to 20,000 euro a year for a serious property mentor. So you're learning all of that along with earning money on your investments. Why this? Why not that? As I say, virtual tours, etc. So that's interesting. Because it's learn, earn and learn, as I call it, is you're really, really hitting two birds with one stone. Because lots of people abroad have savings and they're just very, very unsure what to do with it. So that is a really good strategy for that. So I hope that gives the expats some ideas what they can be doing, and they don't have to be sitting around waiting to just get home. In fact, do not sit around. You won't be able to borrow once you lose that juicy job you have abroad. Presumably the main reason people are abroad is to have that salary. I know there's weather and stuff as well, but I think at the moment most people would prefer to be nearer to family, and if they've kids to have granny and granddad nearby. So property is definitely a strategy that can get you home a lot faster. So pop us a message or contact us. intelligentproperty.ie is the website, or intelligentpropertytraining.ie, and let's see how we can help. Thanks.